to go. Okay. Good evening. Welcome to the Parks and Recreation Commission meeting, Monday, August 7th, 7:02 p.m. Why don't we start out with our roll call? Chair Commissioner Marks here, Commissioner Heinel,
Here.
Commissioner Huntsman, Commissioner Cudmore, Commissioner Sweet,
Here.
Council Member Katie Lapari-Shu,
Hello.
and Parks Administrator Lou Lansing. Okay, so roll call is completed. Do you want to take a look, review the minutes from our July 3rd meeting? And then we'll go into our petitioners.
I think I was the only other person there, but they look good to me. I
Okay.
don't vote, but that's just my
Right,
2
okay.
cents.
Yeah, Charlie was here, I was here, and Libby, I believe. Okay. Would someone like to make a motion to approve the minutes from July 3rd?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second the motion.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Okay, we do have a couple petitioners here this evening with Sandy Bright and Max Wright. Bright and Wright, okay.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we rhyme.
Sandy, since we knew that you were coming initially, I had that already. Would you like to start off with the Deer Management Task Force plan that you have?
Sure.
That you're talking about something to do, at least starting with Wilbur Park.
Right.
Is that correct?
Yes, I think probably everyone is aware now that there's a huge deer overpopulation problem in the city. It's gotten significantly worse in the past few years, and the Common Council recently approved a plan to mitigate the problem. This is, as part of that plan, we need to document the damage the deer do, monitor any progress made through these mitigation strategies, and educate the public to make sure that the residents of Oneonta know what's going on and why. So, a deer exclosure is, toward that end, our committee applied for and received a grant to build 2 deer exclosures. A deer exclosure is simply something that excludes deer. It's a fence that goes around an area and allows the plants to grow, allowing us to see what could be growing there if the deer weren't eating it.
I'd like to volunteer my lawn.
Oh yeah, a lot of people have volunteered their backyard, whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Me too. We went around with Donna Vogler, who's a botanist, and she helped us identify several possible locations. So these are, what we would be building would be roughly 5 by 5 feet. Now my wingspan is about 5 feet, so it's about that much square. And you need a location that has enough sun for something to grow. In picture Wilbur Park, right across from the large pavilion, there's not enough sun in most places for anything to grow. So you need enough sun for some things to grow. You need to avoid areas where there's a lot of invasive plants, and you want there to already be some native growth there. So we, after going around with Donna and choosing and selecting several, we narrowed that down to 3. We will be meeting with Lou Lansing and a few people from the city on Wednesday to narrow that down to just 2 locations. I've forgotten something. Okay, so basically, we need to document the damage, and, you know, when you look, if you're like me, a year ago, I didn't know that much. I could look at an area and think, oh, that plant looks pretty sick, or that tree looks like it's not doing well, but I didn't know why. So we'll take pictures, document that, enclose an area, and then over a period of months and years, we will be able to see the difference. That will show us the damage the deer have already done. And then, as we hopefully will see progress as the mitigation strategies are followed, we will actually see the surrounding areas start to recover and look more like what's in the enclosed area. Along with this fence, there would be a sign that explains to the public what it is and why it's there. Would you like me to tell you the 3 locations that we've, okay. One is in the lower level of the park. If you go to the small pavilion and go toward the high school road, it's about halfway there. There's a bench on the creek side of the road, and on the other side, there's an area where there's a little pink surveyor tape ribbon tied around a root. That area has a number of very, very small saplings and some annuals and perennials also that are growing. If you go to the middle school parking lot, go into the park and take a right, you get, do you know where the ferry trail is? Okay. It's just before you start going downhill to the lower level. There's a little trail that goes off. There's a lot of hemlocks in that area, some big, and once they're big, they can escape most of the deer damage. But a number of them are smaller, and they are getting decimated by the deer. If we put one in there, we would be able to see very quickly, you know, within months, what the deer are doing to those poor hemlocks. Some of them are probably dying and won't make it at all, but we can change that. The third is, again, in the upper level. Now we're going toward the large pavilion. There's a culvert. It's about 100 feet from the middle school parking lot. And there's a number of, there's herb robber, Virginia creeper, a number of native plants growing, and a number of small tree seedlings. And again, these things can only get about this tall. There's nothing bigger than that. So those are the 3 locations we've narrowed it down to. Yes?
Can I ask a question about the hemlocks?
Yeah.
There's a hemlock pest right now, the
Woolly-
woolly adelgid.
Yes.
Yeah. Did you consider that at all? And it sounds like you did.
It's easy to tell when deer browse is the problem, because you can actually see the ends of where they've eaten, where they've foraged. And you know it's deer if it looks very frayed. If for the insect problem is something that can be identified in other ways. But like with something like a squirrel or a rabbit, they have a full set of incisors, top and bottom. Deer don't, they only have one set. So when they forage, they tend to grab and yank, and that causes the ends to fray.
Wow. I
Yeah.
just learned so much.
I learned that from Donna. If you ever have a chance to go for a walk with her, do it.
Okay. Cool. Thank you.
Sure.
And how long did you say the enclosures would stay up for?
Years,
Years.
yeah. Until
Yes.
they're not needed anymore.
And what is used for the enclosure? You said it's 5 by 5.
Just simply fence posts and fencing. They'll be about 5 feet tall. And yes, deer can jump higher than 5 feet, but they can't do it from a perfect standstill. And a 5-foot enclosure is too small for them to really get out of, and they're not gonna get themselves into that situation.
So is it like a rigid thing, or is it like that?
Just fence posts.
Orange.
Just, you know, the green fence posts.
Yeah.
You mean the fencing itself?
Yeah, the fencing
Yeah,
itself.
it's
The wire.
the wire, yeah.
Like
Oh.
metal wire
Yeah,
and stuff?
yeah.
Now Sandy, is this in addition to the other parts of the Oneonta Deer
Yes.
Reduction Program?
This is a
So-
small part of it.
So that's, we're not, the city at this point is not waiting for the results of this in order to continue
Right.
all the other
Right.
pieces that they're planning on.
This is kind of documenting the beginning before we start.
And it's also a public educational piece. All the exclosures that we've identified as possibilities are right near the walking paths, so that, you know, kids can see it, families can see it. It's something that can be observed by everybody, so that, you know, it's a big part of this is public education and hope.
Yes.
We want to give hope.
And another part of it, the location selection is it easy to monitor? Because if a tree comes down and the deer can get in there, you've just wiped out months of progress of what you could be seeing.
It's called an
Exclosure,
ex.
rather than an enclosure, because you are excluding the deer.
Okay, EX.
I had never heard that word before I started on this committee either.
We learned a lot.
I don't want to divert us too much. Is it okay if, I just have a question. What are some of the other pieces of the deer population control plan that are in place?
I'll let you answer that one, Betsy.
Okay, so one of the things that we want to do is have a deer nuisance reporting tool, and that hasn't been designed yet, but it should get designed soon, where people can report, not anonymously, but, you know, name, address, where did it happen, where people, photographs would be great, and a description of what it is, so that we're collecting data that will help us, will help the city know, are there some areas that are impacted more than others? At this point in time, if the deer get into your yard and wipe out your yard, you complain to your friends, and, you know, that's not helpful to mitigate, you know, having mitigation strategies. Another one is a program called AVID, which was created by Cornell University, and it's kind of a citizen scientist type of observation, where you don't have to have fencing for this. You can just mark out an area, in, you know, like in the park or even in your yard. You take pictures and then you report it, you record it. That goes not only to Cornell, but it goes to the DEC. It's shared information, so that's collecting a lot more data.
And that again is monitoring. Were you asking more about the other parts of the program that actually mitigate the problem?
Well, I'm just curious about the whole thing.
Oh.
So,
Well,
Okay.
we have some more.
There's way more.
okay.
Yeah,
But basically, it starts
Yes.
with encouraging more hunting in the area. You can get deer nuisance permits. Eventually, if other things don't work, you get sharpshooters in,
Whoa.
and with crossbows. And I know people tend to go, wait, we can't kill the deer like that. But I'll tell you, you look at the deer around here, I cannot believe how many I've seen that are, their ribs are showing. Had one in my yard the other day, walked through Wilbur Park, there was a buck there that stood, it looked not much bigger than the yearlings, but it had the 2 points, whatever. And I could see his hip bones. It's not healthy for the deer for there to be that many. They are eating things that are not even nutritious for them, because they have to have something to eat, and there's not enough food to go around.
And they don't have natural predators. Deer are, like, unfortunately for deer, their purpose on this planet is to be prey. And we don't have the predators, the apex predators that would come and eat them, and we don't want them necessarily,
We want sharpshooters or mountain lions, or wolves.
or coyotes, so, you know, it's good.
So, I just wanted to ask again, so the deer reduction program for 2023-24, it has already been
Yes.
approved?
Yes.
That's, yeah,
That's
we,
all, so
that-
all of these,
this is,
pieces
what we're
of that
here for is to,
program.
you know, for the exclosure. And that's that has a little bit to do with deer mitigation in that it will support public education, but it's not even really included in the deer.
I see that. because-
Proposal.
Yeah, I see, it's not, yeah.
We weren't sure if we could get the grant when,
Oh,
so we
okay.
didn't wanna say.
Is there a reason you're choosing Wilbur Park for the exclosures rather than a place that's less populated where people are walking around to look at like a metal fence enclosure by the walkway that could also serve the same purpose?
We considered other options, but we felt that for the publicity and the fact that there are so many good locations in Wilbur Park, we felt that Wilbur Park was ideal. And also for us monitoring the exposures. These are all in wooded areas, so they're not in your face, in the way.
You said it was near the Fairy Garden and where I know obviously a lot of like younger kids are going through with their bikes and whatnot. Is it something that's, you know, gonna be like an eyesore where it would be better served in a spot that's not as?
No, I think they would find it interesting. I mean, that's really kind of like, it's almost like if you think of it as kind of a museum piece. It's not a big structure. It's 5 by 5 by 5 feet. And, you know, it would be there to encourage them to make their own observations and to kind of watch it. But, you know, it wouldn't be like standing in the way of any kind of recreational.
And they're all set back from the road a little bit. Like this one, the one you're talking about by the Fairy Garden, is not really along that trail. It's just, there's an area that's surrounded by the Fairy Garden Trail and the road and the parking lot. And in that area are the hemlocks. So I think that one would be back in there 20 feet.
So that's not in like the bike path or the walk path?
No, it doesn't cover any paths.
You'd just be able to see them.
Do you have pictures of the locations, exactly where you're looking, or no?
I have pictures. I don't think you can see a lot from them. And I'd have to I could come over and show you on my phone.
And there will be signage on what the purpose of these
Yes.
closures are.
Can I ask about the one that's in the lower park? Could you
Yes.
explain again where that is? There's like, so it's the Kiwanis Pavilion that's near
Right.
the pool.
You go,
And if I'm at the pool and I'm going toward the pavilion, where do I
you
go?
go past the pavilion, and it's like probably about halfway between the pavilion and the high school
Okay.
road. You know where
Is it
that,
on the right or the left?
it's on the left as you're going toward the
Oh, yeah,
road.
that's a good spot.
Yeah, we felt it was out of the way and,
Yeah.
but still visible, and the sign is going to have, you know, people walking by will say, what is that?
One of the reasons why we considered Wilbur Park too is because we've really seen a big difference in the woodlot there. It's pretty dramatic, the change over the last couple of years. So it's
I had started noticing a few years ago, all these big mature trees coming down, and it's like, there's nothing growing up to replace them. One example is when we were with Betsy, we walked through and there were these really lush-looking shrub-like things that were about this tall, and I said, what are those? I don't remember seeing those before. She went over and looked at them and said, those are ash trees. They can't get any taller because every time they try to grow up, the deer eat them, and so they grow out. So, like I said, a couple weeks ago when we were out there, they looked lush. I walked through today, they are decimated.
Whoa.
I was just going to ask, are you going to do 2 or 3 locations, or you're just going to pick one of the 3?
Our grant covers the cost
The
of
two.
2.
Okay, so would it make sense to have one in the upper level and one in the lower level?
Yes.
Yes, okay. Can you do 3, or is 2 the maximum that the grant will?
The grant will cover 2. Yeah.
I just wanted to ask about what the monitoring will look like. Just thinking about things other than deer going in there, like people.
you could, you know, it's like you wouldn't be able to, because it's, I mean, you would have to like kind of shimmy up and then you'd have to jump straight down.
Okay.
And then you'd have to try and shimmy back up to get, you would
To
be
get
stuck in there.
Okay.
Although that is a good point. We might, I don't know, maybe, because you have to attach the fencing.
Uh-huh.
And I suppose somebody who's really determined could unhatch that fencing and get inside there. I don't know why anyone would do that, but people do strange things.
Yeah,
so.
absolutely. Okay. And I guess now that I've asked the question, I'm still curious, like what does the monitoring look like of the
I think-
exclosures?
Yeah, we would maybe take pictures, measure some of these things that are in there. Like the oak tree I saw growing that's this tall, and then, and also what's in the surrounding area.
Okay.
What is similar, and like the hemlocks, I think is a really good example,
Mhm.
because I think what we'll see is instead of these scrawny looking things with lots of twigs and no needles, we'll start to see needles on the one in the exclosure. And, pictures I think will tell a lot, and measuring.
And is that something that the group is going to do, or city, is it like parks who's going to do that? Do
Well,
you
we
know?
haven't ironed that out yet. We don't know who's going to be coordinating the whole project,
Okay.
but, I mean, we're really invested in this.
I can tell.
Well,
You clearly know a lot about it and speak confidently about it, so.
I think it would be great if we, because we have been posting a lot of our information on the All for Oneonta site, to post photos, on a regular basis, so that people could.
Oh, yeah, I'd be interested.
And then eventually the information goes to the pictures and the documentation as far as measurement, that would go to,
it would be mainly for city use,
City
but
use.
some of that will be provided to the DEC
sure.
probably.
Mhm. Have any of the other locations in New York, upstate in particular, although I guess it doesn't matter, have other communities used the,
Cornell has, a lot of places have, but Cornell has done, that's where we kind of got a lot of people have gotten the idea about this. They didn't have a 5x5, they had a big section of their woods that they fenced off. And the photos, when you see the photos of where they excluded deer and where they didn't, it is like someone just took a mower and mowed the other part down, where the other part is like this lush forest. But the 5x5 give is something that doesn't take up a whole lot of room and is more educational. We're not trying, an exclosure won't save Wilbur Park, but it will increase awareness.
Yes.
so at some point, then the deer reduction would have to come into play.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
how many deer are you, I know they're not counting deer, and it probably is not helpful to count, there's 20 plus deer in Wilbur Park, but I'm just trying to see how the coordination would happen with the deer reduction program.
According to the DEC, it doesn't help to count deer
Right.
and count even how many you've taken. You really need to look to monitor the effects of deer, and it's when you start to see progress there. It's like, do the Lyme disease incidents go down? How about deer vehicle accidents? How about deer people accidents? Like, there was one guy that got hit by a deer and he was walking across the road and the deer jumped over him. Anyway, it's like, and the reporting tool would go a long way in that too.
Okay.
Fewer reports.
Oh, absolutely, and fewer numbers of Lyme disease, because I did see in 2022, there were 114 documented cases, and I think the year before there was
Just a few.
few.
You
and
look at the bar
year
graph,
before
is it
that
there?
was,
And
I
then
think
it's
it was
like that.
single digits, so
Yeah.
Wow.
I can see the.
This year, there's
Just in
been
the past
quite
couple
a
of
few
years.
people hospitalized from Lyme
Well,
disease.
we can all attest to the fact that it's exploded,
Yeah.
because there's nothing at this point, preventing them from reproducing, and they reproduce so quickly.
Right.
Well, I think that's so for that, Carrie, do we need to make a motion, or is this just for our informational?
My understanding is that it was informational and then any action would have to come from the council. as
That's
far as
what
accepting
I
the
would
funding.
think so also. So we don't, do we make a motion to recommend that to
You
the
can
council?
certainly do that if you wanna do a motion in support of it, to forward.
Yeah, I agree. Would someone like to make a motion that we agree and approve the, tell me again,
Exclosure.
exclosure,
Deer exposure?
we have your
Yeah,
exclosure
that's good.
plan
Yes.
for Wilbur Park.
I just downloaded Avid and I'm really excited to get started.
Yeah, anybody can do it.
Yeah.
It's very cool.
That is
It is.
You can use your phone to do it.
Sarah, just wanna say, is this like the picture similar to like what you were talking about, the green
Yeah.
fencing?
Yes.
Something like that?
Yeah.
Do you have your-
Plants in jail.
Okay, yes, I will make a motion to recommend and approve to forward to common council the deer exclosure plan for upper and lower level of Wilbur Park. Okay, for two of them, okay? Second,
I'll second.
okay? Motion approved, aye?
Aye.
Thank you for your diligence and patience with this, because I can see all the work that you've done and went through everything. When I heard that you were coming, you've done a lot of hard
It's
work.
been fascinating.
Yeah.
It went from like,
Right,
God,
and in
dear,
a year's
to
time.
like, oh my gosh, this is really serious.
It
We
is
need to do
serious,
something.
and I think I can't imagine that anyone would not see the fact that it is a problem. It's very obvious.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you for all the work that you've done.
Thanks, Carol.
Have a nice evening.
You too.
Have a good night. Thank you.
Okay, petitioner. Max. Right. What you got, Max?
Okay, so I guess I could give a little background to the whole situation. So my name's Max. I talked to a few of you guys in the beginning. I'm the founder and president of the Oneonta Skateboard Club. I started this about a year ago, maybe a little less, back in October, just because I have a big passion for skateboarding. It teaches perseverance, patience, allows you to get outside every day. It's something I'm very passionate about, and I wanted to really start spreading this among anybody within the community, not necessarily just the college. The college is where like definitely a lot of growth has come from the club. We have about 50 or 60 members now. We're doing weekly events, especially when college is in session. And those weekly events aren't necessarily like anything grand. It's just meeting up and getting together and just being active and outside. So last May is the first time I tried to put on an official event. I had been on a sort of committee for the skate park with Lou and Mayor Mark and Mark Davies as well. So I had gone through Mark Davies for the last one I didn't know what the protocol actually was back then to do an event. So I just asked Mark Davies, hey, like, I want to put on this event in 2 weeks. Can you help me get these permits or whatever's required? And he's like, sure. And he talked to the mayor for me. And then I happened to run into the mayor and asked him like 3 days before the event was supposed to happen. And I explained to him what I was trying to do with that last event. And he just said, yeah, let me figure it out. He didn't really tell me what he was going to do. But then 3 or 4 hours later, I got approval for the event. I don't know what happened with the COI or anything, because I wasn't even like aware of needing those types of things. But we did have a really successful event in May. We had about 100 to 120 people come to that event. It was an all-day thing at the Niwa Skate Park. We had a skateboarding tournament. It was sponsored by several companies, where we were able to give gear to some of the kids that came and give gear to some of the people that were participating in the tournament. We had some food sponsors. We had Groundhouse. They had an event where they were a little booth where they sold clothing, and we had 5 local bands perform. We ended up using the electric from the baseball field that's right next to the skate park, and there's a little cement slab where like a set of drums and different things fit. So we were able to put on a really nice event, and like I said, over 100 people attended that. I stayed and I cleaned up. I don't think there was any reports of anything that went wrong at that event. So flash forward to now. Last month I emailed the mayor, and I guess it flew under his radar because I thought I was supposed to go through him potentially again because he helped me last time, and I didn't. So I was also out of town the last month, traveling with my girlfriend out of country. So I just got back. So this week, now that I've been back, I've been trying to find and get a hold of the mayor for the last week and a half, or last week or so. And finally, I heard from him today, and I got in touch with him. And I had also spoken to Lou as well, who had recommended me potentially to go through him. But then I became aware of all of this protocol. They told me basically a few hours ago, oh, you should come to meetings tonight. So what I'm trying to do is do another skateboard event, September 9th, which I guess is not that long away, like a little over a month away. But the last event I was able to get everything together in only 2 weeks. So it is about twice the amount of time to get things together this time, and the last time was successful. So I guess I'm seeking approval for that event. I'm definitely trying to have it even more involved with the community. Like if I can get approval for this, like tomorrow I'm trying to go to every business on Main Street possibly to see if they want to have a stand there. I want to go to Stony Anta, Ground House, Shakedown Street, any clothing vendors, basically anyone who has a product to sell that's of course an appropriate product to sell or anything, just to be involved. I know there's some businesses that might not be the best to be selling there, but yeah, I want to have a bunch of vendors there this time. We're looking at trying to get food trucks booked. I feel like it could stimulate a lot of businesses just for this one day thing and just show a lot of community participation within the skate realm. Trying to do another tournament as well, give away some more gear. Trying to also have more live music, just basically just get the community really involved and show that we have this big presence within the skateboarding realm, especially trying to seek future grants to revitalize the skate park because it's getting older. And that's a whole other conversation that I've been talking with the mayor and Mark Davies and Lou about. But yeah, hopefully come this year, I want to start trying to get involved with some of these grants, state related, or we're looking at grants like the Tony Hawk
Grants
Foundation
for
as well,
improving
to get
this
money to
infrastructure.
really, yeah.
So this is not a fundraiser, Max, this is just to get people down and.
Just get people, get publicity. There is some communication potentially of going maybe through the teen center or a nonprofit that would partner with us to get some donations at the event, or at least if we're not doing fundraising, at least get signatures, just to show we have people coming out and supporting this community. If we could get fundraising just to add to the budget, I think the budget right now, Mark told me was $5,000. If we could somehow go through a nonprofit to get it there, that'd be great too. But if that's harder to do, then I'm fine just doing it as just a community event.
So at this point, Max would need a certificate of insurance, correct?
There's a couple, and I say problems, that sounds like a harsh word, but there are a couple problems with the proposal. We don't have an actual application. The application hasn't been submitted, there's been no fee paid, we don't have a certificate of insurance. It's a new event, even though I can't even speak to what happened back in May, but it hasn't gone through the process of a new event. So it needs to be processed through the Common Council as well. I mean, over 100 people in the park, that type of activity, not that it's skateboarding, but that it is very physically intensive. I'm very, very glad to hear that there were no injuries, but the liability on the city of having that many people, those vendors, it's not insignificant.
When I talked to Lou, she told me the first step was to come here, and then the application was second, and then the COI was third. I don't know if that's how it works, but that's at least what she told me today.
Yeah, there's supposed to be an application request on file before it even comes forward.
Oh, okay.
To get any of the information. That's why I mentioned, all I have right now is your email
Okay.
that we found out about today.
Okay, were you, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, I see.
Yeah.
Max, in your email, you had mentioned partnering with someone with regard to the certificate of insurance.
Yeah, the mayor suggested Destination Oneonta could be a co-sponsor and provide the COI.
Okay.
And I just saw them they just emailed me saying they'd like to meet to speak on co-sponsoring it. So that's at
That's
least.
promising.
Yeah, I just got the email actually right when we sat down.
Because you
here.
don't have a certificate of insurance on your own individual basis for this, so you would need a sponsoring entity to help you with that. So you have reached out to Destination.
Yeah, the mayor added them today
Yeah,
and asked.
Victoria responded at about 7 o'clock indicating that she would schedule a sit-down meeting to see if that's something they're able to do.
Yeah.
Okay. So considering that this is a new event, how does the Parks and Rec Commission, do we make a motion or?
You would have to indicate if you support it, any conditions that you might have, emphasizing, again, I understand that we're looking at DO for insurance. In my humble opinion, I'd like to see that any approval be made contingent upon insurance.
Yes, absolutely.
I would like that as well. I don't want it.
Yeah, right, no, you don't want
Yeah,
that one.
it's
no.
either insurance or an indemnity agreement, so I'm
Mhm.
thinking you want the insurance.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you have a name for this event, Max?
I was gonna call it like the back to school skate jam.
Oh, nice.
You know, it's September 9th. It's about a week or
Yes.
2 weeks after the colleges come back at least. It's not just for colleges, of course, but I mean also the public schools will also probably
Right, so the back to school
skate jam.
skate jam.
That's actually like right when they start this local.
And it's a Saturday.
Okay, yeah, they start on
It's-
Thursday the 7th.
Okay, so yeah, it'll
Oh,
really
that's
be the
really
yeah.
And
perfect
May, when you
timing.
had everyone come together, what was the demographic? Was it mostly college age kids or was it
There was
all
like
ages?
I would say like there was all ages. Like the biggest demographic was probably like 18 to like 21.
Yeah.
I would say at least half.
Mhm.
Then there was also like a good chunk of older people there, maybe in their like 30s, 40s, and then there was also some even like kids as young as like, well, you know, like older than college.
It's
Yeah.
okay, Max, we understand exactly
Yeah,
what you
but,
mean. No.
We even had like younger kids competing that were maybe 12, 13, maybe even younger, 11. So there was definitely all demographics there.
So how did you organize who did what when and, down there?
So we kind of like we did it like there's a thing called like Game of Skate where like it's like if anyone's ever played horse in basketball where you like take turns doing a trick and the other person gets it and you kind of rotate, and that's like a big skate competition type. It's a common skate competition. So we did like a tournament style where like we drew names out of a hat for anyone. It was free for everyone to enter, and we just drew names out of a hat for like a bracket, and just basically had like round of 16, then quarterfinals, semis, finals, and then the winner was like awarded gear as well as like the run, like we gave gear also to like the people who like person who like competed the best. Like we gave that to like a younger kid and gave him a free board and just gave out different gear for different reasons. But like
Did a lot of work.
yeah.
That is a lot of work.
Yeah, the club's been sponsored by like a pretty large skateboard company now, so they sent us over $2,000 worth of gear as well for the event.
Oh.
So we had, and Stony Octave provided a skateboard to give away as well. So we had definitely a few different people give us stuff to give away, which was nice.
And again, earlier you said there's no charge, and you're not charging.
No, I didn't charge
to
anything.
participate.
Yeah, it was
Okay.
just
come
bring
down
people
and
together.
enjoy, have fun, and be part of this.
Yeah, yeah.
Awesome.
I love the idea behind it. Anytime people are using the park, and especially the skate park, I know I bring my family there and the kids go on their shredder bikes, and it does need
Yeah.
improvement. So to have people come together to gain support of it potentially raising money, I think that's, as long as you can get the COI and all of that together,
Yeah.
I think it's a great.
Yeah, a lot of these grants, they a big factor is they want to see that there's an actual community. Like they don't want to give money to like a dead skate park.
Right.
So they ask for like, oh, like can you give like newspaper articles for events and things like that, and they're usually like required. So
Yeah, make sure that you do have.
yeah, I want to invite within.
Sure.
I want to get the press here if we can. Last time it was a bit short notice, and
But
I
then
had,
now you've got, time, you've got at least a good month to be able to, get that word out. And will you
Yeah.
do flyers again like
I
you
would
did
do
for
flyers
first?
and social media
Last one?
promotion.
Okay.
We have photos from the last one as well.
Very good.
I can show you guys if you want. Like, so at least for like applying for the grants, we have at least one. one photo from the last event that shows the amount of people. If I have service in here. Sorry. My service wasn't working, it was straight on my Instagram, but oh, here we go. So like this was at like the height of the event.
Oh, yeah.
There was quite a few people that
Oh,
came to
yeah.
this. And there was like,
Nice.
Oh, cool.
yeah, there's-
Yeah, it's a good turnout.
and I have a lot of people asking now, like, oh, when's the next one gonna be? Like, where are people at? So I have a lot of people that wanna help too, like to organize everything, so.
I'm sure everybody that's in your skate community realizes, obviously, the skate park is getting older, so I think
Yeah,
they all want the same thing, to have
There's been a lot of
publicity
talks.
for it, yeah.
yeah.
Okay, so why don't we, make a motion, for the back-to-school skate jam, Saturday, September 9th. We'd like to forward this on to Common Council and, with the conditions that the application is, done, completed and on file. Certificate of insurance is completed. Am I missing anything? Okay. So I'll make the motion in a second.
I'll second the motion.
Okay. All in favor? Aye.
Aye. Yes, I love that the college kids are involved in this because I want them to feel like part of this community too. So, good job.
That was my big, I'm trying to, cause I don't actually go to Sumiata. My girlfriend, actually, she just graduated, but, I do online school, but this is how I was able to like, I was just a normal community member here and I wanted to like connect with different people, so I was like, how am I gonna make friends? Let me just make a club and
That's great.
meet people my own age that way, and, yeah,
Awesome.
so, bridging people together.
Yeah, then that's all, bringing the community together and having the students come down and be part of it. This could really turn into a really big thing.
I hope so.
And that's the whole point, so.
Yeah, like get those grants going, and me and my boss also skates. He's an older guy, but
So he's like 25.
Yeah, right. Might be 30, but maybe.
it's, me and him talk about wanting to eventually like there could be like getting like an indoor skate park built in Oneonta, like that would probably be from a private funder, but I don't know, like making it like a skating destination. I mean, as
With
big as it
two-
could be.
Yeah, with two colleges, if you thought, a good involvement, I think you guys could potentially, at least fundraise for something.
Yeah, and like I think like if we did create like a nice like known skating space, like already like at how the park is now, like I go skate there almost every day that I'm here, and I'd meet kids coming from Bainbridge, coming like from Utica, different places, like all over, coming from like an hour away just to the skate park.
Really, they're just, you wanna come and see it and
Skate
see how
there
it
and-
compares to maybe other places that they've
Yeah,
been or may have in their own community.
yeah.
What do you think about indoor versus outdoors?
I think that the indoor would be really great for keeping it alive year round, of course, because there's a good 3-4 months where you're just like, you guys know.
Or 8,
Yeah, just having, having an indoor space here would be like incredible. That comes with like, I don't know, a whole other set of requirements, I'm sure, like,
But you never know with your enthusiasm and the increase in population and of people joining, you never know.
yeah, and maybe like you could like create like a shop there for skateboards and bikes and scooters and all these different activities, because I would like to include not just skateboards. Like I want everyone that does any type of outdoor riding with a wheel to be involved in these events too. So having something that's like attached, like a shop for all those people too. I think you could like have like a nice skateboard and biking. There is a bike shop here, I know, but if you had like a skating shop here, like with the two colleges with all the kids coming each year, you're getting like and you're getting like a target market like of like 2,000 new kids coming, or I don't know what the number is, probably like 1,500 new kids coming every year that are freshmen that would be spending money at these shops, you know. So
Yeah, that.
I'm surprised there isn't something like that. But I mean, I heard there used to be a skate shop here, but way before I was here.
I don't know.
I know, I'm
Sport-
trying to
it's
think.
nice. I don't think Sport Tech had skateboards, did they?
Big bikes, but
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
bikes and skis would not.
See, get more involvement and awareness, and
Yeah.
I think,
And then who knows, someone might say, hey, I wanna open up.
Yeah.
yeah.
And
It'd
that's
be
another
great.
way to get another business in town.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who sponsors your club?
They're a company called Land Yachts. They're like a top 5 longboard retailer in the world.
Whoa.
They're based out of Vancouver, but they're like have a program where they look to sponsor clubs that are like really like coming together and showing like big numbers.
Yeah.
So we have like about like around the globe they sponsor about 20 or 30 clubs, and we're in that network now.
Wow.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's great.
Yeah, it's cool. Like I was able to like my parents live in Nashville, and I was there in June, and one of our sister clubs was putting on an event similar to what we did, and we were able to go network with them then. And like there was people from different sister clubs even like traveling to that, and they were like saying they would want to travel to Oneonta to come help support the event, even all the way from out of state. So
Oh, I love your enthusiasm
I
about it.
know, me too.
thank you.
Mhm.
Yeah, this it's basically all I do if I'm not working or doing school is trying to grow the skate scene.
That's what they need a leader.
Well, that's just what I was gonna say. That's what community leadership is.
Exactly.
That is community leadership.
It is, and you
Yeah.
rally students and people your age and younger than me. I mean, then you've got it going. That's
Yeah.
great.
Thank you, yeah. You know, it just started with me, and for the first 3 months there was only 2 people, and then I don't know what happened, like,
Well, we know that Trevor Huntsman is.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
oh,
Trevor.
that, I didn't know Trevor's last name, is this
Yes, that's.
with the tattoos and,
Yes, Trevor Huntsman.
okay, yeah, I know Trevor actually competed in the last one. Yeah, he was definitely in
Definitely
attendance.
have-
Yeah, I wish he would've been here, like, he would've known exactly what, but, you know.
Certainly would.
I mean, it's, you guys, I'm glad you guys support it, I'm really thankful.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any other questions, concerns at all? I don't think I have any, for
No, I'm-
sure. I think it's another way of getting people together, young people together, get outside, enjoy the parks. That's what they're there for.
The only, I guess, is there a big difference if we did partner with like with a nonprofit to try to get money? Is it going to create any new forms or issues?
No, right?
Okay.
No.
Because I plan to meet with Mark Davies suggested I meet with the teen center, and maybe they could serve as a sponsor to collect money for the park.
Sure.
I'm going to try to meet with them maybe tomorrow or the next day.
Yeah,
Speak to them.
SUNY Oneonta's outdoor, what are they called? Outdoor Adventure Club or something?
Yeah.
That's part of a 501c3 organization, so that they might also be willing to.
Okay.
I mean, I can't speak for them, of course, but they might be somebody else.
You
to
reach
talk
out to them.
And they're located in Hunt Union?
Yeah, downstairs, and they're getting more and more equipment every year. It's amazing what they've
Yeah,
done.
see all the bikes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be a really good resource.
Okay, yeah. I wonder if they're open now. Probably not, right? Not until this college is back in session.
The office might be open.
Okay.
Not now, obviously, but
Yeah.
9 to 4:30 or so.
Maybe I go check during the day.
Check it out.
You know?
So it sounds like you've got a lot of avenues that you're pursuing. It sounds to me like a full-time job.
That's fun. I like it. So I was just waiting to see if the approval process and if this was gonna go through. Like I'm ready to really.
Okay, now you can.
I want to go to like every business on Main Street tomorrow and hey, like you guys want to be involved in this?
Make sure you
Connect
get
me.
that application in.
Yeah, where can I access the application?
Lou has it. It's
Lou
right-
has it?
Yeah,
Okay.
Lou has it, it's right online.
Okay.
The council meets for a special meeting tomorrow night, that might be too quick to get everything together, but then they meet again on the 15th, and that's your final approval.
Okay. 15th
So by next Tuesday.
next Tuesday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can do it.
I'm gonna try to do it by tomorrow. I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, I'll walk on a motion tomorrow.
There you go.
Would they, but they'll also need for approval from, as
Yeah, you would have to
as
have
a
it.
certificate of insurance that would have to be in with that, or would it be approved contingent upon, or is it better to have all pieces ready to go by next week?
I think it would be better to have everything all
Together?
together.
Let me ask, could someone come on my behalf on the 15th and turn in the application for me, or do I have to be there?
Oh, you can turn it in beforehand. It's not when you turn it in, as far as the 8th or the 15th.
Okay.
You get it to Lou, and she'll make sure our office gets it so that we can get it on their agenda.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just, because on the 15th, I know, like, I'm going, like, with my girlfriend to visit her mom. I'll be out of town for a few days during that period. I don't know, do I need to be present at the 15th of the
If
meeting?
you're not, you could come to answer questions, or you could send someone to come and answer
Okay.
questions. Because there might be questions.
Yeah.
But also I'll be there, and I've been here to
Okay.
and hear from you, so I'm
Yeah.
going to advocate for it. But yeah, if you have someone that you think would be a good advocate resource about it, because there will be 7 different people here who might have questions.
During that time. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I would love to be there. I just already have, like, plane tickets set and it's all in, and I'm going to be gone for that week.
Yeah.
So if you can, find a substitute for you that
Come
answers
answer.
those questions for you, and again, Katie is on the Common
Yeah.
Council, and she's been,
Okay.
so she will also.
I think my boss would come for me. He helped me do it last time. Dan Wood. I think his dad's a council member, Lynn
Oh,
Carson's
yeah.
stepson.
Yep,
Yeah.
that's fine. Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's I work for decent marketing with him, so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really cool.
Oh, you've got a great boss.
Yeah, I love Dan. Yeah.
So get your application in and figure out your certificate of insurance as soon as possible.
Yeah.
And then it's just a matter of whether we can talk about, the council can discuss it tomorrow or the 15th, but we'll plan on the 15th.
Yeah, that sounds better. Give a little more time to talk to Destination Oneonta as well.
Exactly.
I don't think that'll happen overnight, but.
Yeah.
Well, good luck to you. Thank you for coming
Yeah,
this
good luck.
evening.
Thank you
Yeah.
guys.
I'm gonna
Nice to meet
come.
all of
I'm
you.
gonna put it in my
Yeah.
calendar.
I'm gonna start coming to more of these meetings just to be involved. Learn some things.
Yeah, you.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that was interesting with the DA
Yeah.
stuff too. You guys have
Have
a
a nice evening. Nice
nice
meeting you.
evening.
Yes,
Yeah,
good
let's
night.
keep up the good work.
Yeah,
Nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you.
Nice to meet you.
Nice meeting you. Nice meeting you. See you guys soon.
I guess I'll read through the the correspondence. Apparently there was, I did not see this, a concern from a community member about the disorderly parking that they have observed at the pool in Wilbur, especially during swim lessons. Upon review, we've determined that some improvements in the way of signage, pavement lines, and possibly some repaving would help in the area. Hopefully, once completed, these improvements will alleviate the situation in the small parking area at the former pool.
So swim lessons have ended, I believe. And what was
Yeah,
the
I thought so. So it was,
something for-
sounds like it was mainly maybe there's more people because of the lessons during that particular time.
So I have that correspondence if you want me to share it.
Sure.
Okay, sure. It says, "Hi Lou, it's now time to take one of my grandsons to swimming lessons at Briggs Pool in the morning. The same place his mother took lessons a couple of decades ago. What a great city program. I took a few pictures to show you that better signage is needed in the parking lot. I've noticed well before this year that cars are parked between the signs that say no parking between signs. Not only do they block any city vehicles' access to the storage building there, but also the walkway to the pool. Parents and children often have to walk between cars, which is particularly unsafe when exiting the pool area to the parking lot. The handicap space is barely evident on the lot, and the sign on the post is missing, as you can see in my pictures, and this person includes some pictures. The space is seldom left for handicapped persons. It's clear that there's limited parking space for this popular spot, but I hope that the signage can be improved to make it safer and accessible for everyone. Thanks for your consideration." So I've been there since. I wish I could share my photos. I mean, I could it's very tiny, but you can kind of see.
Oh,
There's on that side, maybe the.
Yeah, like if you're walking out from the pool toward the front.
Oh, okay.
It's like right in front of that. There are some signs, sorry, right? Here's in Timbuktu.
I walk by it all the time.
Yeah, so you've probably seen that So there are those two signs on either side of the pathway that say no parking between signs, but because the lines, like the parking striping is so worn, people just kind of park wherever. So that's what this person was bringing to our attention, and since then, someone, Parks DPW, has painted on the pavement, like, do not park here, just with spray paint, like, so it is more clear, and I think that the sign that it's, an accessible parking spot has been replaced, so that's been
There
addressed.
really isn't a parking lot there, though,
No, there
at
isn't.
all. I mean,
You
I
kind
guess,
of just take over the grass a little bit.
yeah, that's
and go,
typically what I see too, that
Yeah.
people are just parked somewhere along the grass.
Or along, like, where the trail is, like,
Right,
around the pavilion, they'll
Yep.
start going that way too.
Yep.
So is it really feasible to, have payment lines?
There are some pavement lines, like up against, you know where like the kiddie pool is, like up against that fence, there are some designated spots
Okay.
there. And then I think also around to the, like if I'm standing there looking at the pool, like around to the left there are some, but yeah, a lot of it is just up on the grass. I
Yeah.
remember. Yeah, so so the blocking of the walkway and the handicap spot has been addressed, I think.
Okay, yeah, as long as, you know, we can reduce, the possibility of someone getting hit or hurt.
Yeah, I do understand her concern with little kids, like, walking between cars, but
Yeah.
it is a tricky spot, because it's mostly grass.
It is, and it's not really designated parking.
Right,
Mhm.
but I'm glad that, thanks for the update, that
Sure.
was.
Yeah, also while we're on correspondence, I did receive something and I think you were
You know what,
CC'd, but it's not on here.
I think that the issue is, my email address has changed, so before I leave, Carrie, I'll, and it might be because it's going to my old account, so I probably need to update my current.
Directory entry.
Okay, oh, and there was Katie?
There was one more,
Okay.
and, so this one was shared with myself and Carolyn. It didn't go to Lou right away, so I forwarded it on to Lou, but it says, "Good afternoon, on a hot summer evening at last night's concert, the prime shady lawn space
Yeah, I did, yes, I did, I did
was
get
taken
that.
by parked vehicles. Most of the concert goers desired seating in the shade. They had to sit behind vehicles, crowd into the limited shade in front of the vehicles, or sit under the trees along the edge of the road. This is not very welcoming to those who come to the park to enjoy the concerts. Is the city able to reserve the space between the stage and the shade for people, and the space behind the shade for the vehicles? Thank you for looking into this issue." So I had forwarded that to Lou, and I got kind of a long response, so I don't know if I should read it, but, basically, she had mentioned that a lot of the folks who are parked there, have mobility issues.
I did respond to that, Katie, I believe I did, to that email. And I pretty much
Did.
said the same thing, that the reason why many people park, and they're not parking right where the concert venue is, they're really parked behind, and there's plenty of space. There's more than enough space for people to gather and sit, and there's picnic tables. I was kind of surprised at the concern.
Yeah. This picture that they sent, I was confused. I mean, this looks like that's the Brenner building, right? And
Right,
the pond.
mhm.
And isn't the stage like here?
The stage is way up further. It's way up in the front. It's hard
okay.
to see from
I
there.
see what you're saying. Okay, so this is like way back.
I would say yes. Mhm.
Okay.
And there's,
their concern is that this part is all sunny.
to a degree, but by now, I mean, that was
Yeah.
a couple of
Yeah, that was like right
Right.
right after our July meeting.
That was the only
Okay.
sunny Thursday we've
The
had.
only day of summer.
I know, right? Yeah.
So, and I didn't realize that there is a sign that says, stay off grass, but that doesn't necessarily mean don't
Oh,
park in the
okay.
grass. And I think I responded with, many, if not most of our events, people park various locations on the grass. So,
Yeah, I agree. I think the stages
Oh,
have
yeah, I
to
can
be
see it, great.
Do you wanna see?
Yep, crystal clear.
Yeah, so I thank you for that clarification,
Yeah.
because to me, it looked like this was basically like right in front of the band shell, and I was
No,
like, that
no.
seems like really inconvenient parking, but, okay, that makes more sense that it's farther back. and
it
it's just in the
is,
shade.
it is.
Gotcha,
Mhm.
okay,
And even no matter where, on a really sunny Thursday evening, which again, we only had one,
I know,
the whole area there are no trees.
Yeah.
yeah, right,
Right. So
Yeah.
when.
That first night was 80-something degrees, it was high humidity, it was direct sun.
Yeah.
The first night was, it was rough.
Yeah.
But
Umbrellas or.
yeah, so that might be
something.
good feedback for us
Maybe.
to look into in the future, like some sort of shade situation. But maybe not addressing it in the way that this person was
Mhm.
expecting us to.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, thanks for talking about that.
Okay. Park news, the July 27th Steve Fabrizio Ensemble concert was canceled due to weather. No makeup date is possible for this band because I believe there was only one date that could be rescheduled, which would be for the Driftwoods concert, which was postponed in July, has been rescheduled for Wednesday, August 30th at 7 p.m. So the Driftwoods will be able to have their concert, but the other ensemble will not. And Victoria Smith is the new director of membership and events at Destination Oneonta. We've partnered with Victoria, David, is that David Hayes?
Crop.
Oh, okay, and Destination Oneonta
okay.
on our movie nights in Ewa. They're a great team to work with. So it looks like Friday, August 25th, the movie Tangled, that was postponed in June, will begin, well, the youth family activities will begin at 7, the movie at 9. And then Thursday, August 31st, movie Soul, family activities again will begin at 7. It looks like fire department, police department, and the Otsego County Sheriff's Office will have demonstrations and be involved with the youth family activities, and again, the movie at 9. And obviously, thanks to Fire Chief Knapp, Police Chief Witzenberg, Police Lieutenant Berger, Otsego County Under Sheriff Allison, and Otsego County Sergeant Solovich. And the rain date for Soul movie night will be the very next day, Friday, September 1st. And that is all that you have for park news.
There's a back.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I,
That's okay. Do you have it?
thank you.
It's okay.
Due to scheduling issue problems beyond their control. Oh, Destination Oneonta is unable to host their traditional Balloon Fest this year. However, Destination Oneonta has teamed with Friday Tangled Movie Night with another fun family event called Oneonta Splash and Sizzle Bash that same weekend. This event will happen on Saturday, August 26th from 11 to 7 in the park. And then Hartwood College softball will begin the use of Christmas softball field number 4 in Nearwood Park after Labor Day this fall. And that was submitted by Lou.
The Sizzle Bash sounds fun.
So is that going to be a water-related event?
It sounds like it. Splash and sizzle.
Carrie, is that considered a new event?
contracted event through DO, so that's why you haven't seen it.
Is there information about this online? If I went to Destination ONAT, I could find out a little bit.
Their Facebook page should by now have it listed as an event. I'd be surprised if she doesn't have it listed, to be honest with you.
Okay,
Yep, there it is.
okay, great, good.
Under their events page. So from their narrative, it will be an event filled with family fun, delicious food, and live entertainment. Bounce houses, water balloons, water blasters, local vendors, lawn games, live entertainment, music, face painting, and more.
Okay, well, it's a nice alternative.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so we've gone over petitioners, correspondence, old business. Any old business that we want to discuss? Can't think of anything either. New business.
I may have new business too.
Do-
I may,
Okay,
but I think Courtney.
Courtney, do you have new business?
No, I don't.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
you don't? Ooh, okay. I've heard a lot of, a lot of grumbling about the lack of childcare options in the city this summer. And it's not so much that I think that we need to, force anybody to do anything, because I know that the YMCA has their hands full with a lot of different things, but I have heard from several people, parents of young kids, that they're just feeling like they're in an impossible situation. And so I'm just bringing it up as sort of a point of information, but I think I've heard that there's a petition of some sort headed our way sometime soon.
Really?
Yes.
So the only thing that I wanna say, without expressing any personal opinion, is that I have also talked about this in various other meetings and committees and things, not about the petition, about
Yeah.
that particular challenge in our community. And just to inform our conversation, when said petition might come this way, childcare, I'm quoting our finance director, childcare is not a legitimate governmental purpose. What we provided that was cut is a recreation program. So we just have to be mindful of that.
Of the language that we use when we discuss it, or
Yes, correct.
the budgetary realities?
Both.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I learned that, so I just want to share it with the room.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it was not a legitimate governmental,
Yeah. Function.
okay.
Petition in regards to Parks and Rec having a program that supports, like programs that used to be.
It's, I think it's not specifically directed at us, but this is kind of the most obvious venue for it. And I think it's more sort of countywide. We just have this dearth of any kind of summer camps, day camps, anything like that for kids. Outside of Bugby and the Boys and Girls Club. And it's just, I think there are, I know one of my neighbors says that she's at the breaking point. Of she cannot go to work if her kids, because she has young kids, and she says, I can't go to work if I don't have anyone to take care of my kids. Lots of us don't have family in the area, and so it's a significant issue for her.
Is it, are parents concerned about a particular age group that, there's lack of childcare? Is it, just young children, infants, school-aged, teens,
I mean, I think that for her, it's, kids up to the age of 7 or so, because you can't leave them home alone.
And I think that the Boys and Girls Club, they must be kindergarten age and older.
So I'm not saying that there's a specific course of action, but I'm saying that there's a lot of rumbling going on underneath the surface and that we should be aware.
But again, the Parks and Recreation, we're not responsible for programs as such.
Back in the day, did Parks and Rec have any hand in like tennis lessons or
They
all of
did.
that? Like the camps that kids used to go.
Yes.
This is going back like 20,
Yeah, many decades.
yeah, before
That-
the
yeah.
restructuring,
Mhm.
yeah.
And I think I know we've talked about this previously, but that would, even if we just had a recreation program, I believe it would take an enormous amount of resources, meaning a budget and vetting. It is not
Yeah.
something that the Parks and Recreation and the City of Oneonta, I don't believe that they're looking at getting into that kind of.
Yeah, but I mean, what she said, I think resonates, and she said, I'm thinking about just moving to Binghamton because I can get better job there, I know I can get childcare, and I won't have to worry about this. Like, we are facing significant population loss of people between the ages of 25 and 40, right? And we already have a pretty significant gap there. I'm just saying that is, it is a potentially very serious thing that we're facing.
So childcare versus recreational programming, those are really two separate entities with very different
Okay,
parameters, and
okay, so if I rephrase it as recreation, would we be having a different conversation?
We used to have like a drop-off program.
Yeah, it was,
in the
yes.
park, Right, and that,
30 years ago.
yeah, and the absence of that, I think the fact that it used to exist and now doesn't creates
Yeah.
a lot of frustration, for sure.
I've heard the same too.
Yeah.
But I just want to clarify in my mind the difference between a child care, which would encompass, we don't know what the hours would be, and the lunch and the food and the liability that goes along with that, as opposed to, I'm going to drop off, my 8 and 10-year-old down at Newa Park, and they're going to play for a couple hours.
Yeah,
And come and pick them up. There's really a
okay,
difference between, I feel, between childcare and just recreation, dropping someone off and leaving and then coming back, as opposed to having full day childcare. Are they, I don't know,
yeah,
and the costs involved, I understand that too, and again, this program, many, many decades ago was free. Times were a little different back then than they
Yeah.
are now, because I was involved with that program.
Yeah.
So I'm well aware of that time period versus today.
yeah.
I think one of the big challenges, and we heard it, I think, over and over from Frank and Sue at the Y, is that like staffing, is a problem for them. It would be a problem for us too, so I think that's tough. I don't know how we would,
And that's where the vicious cycle happens.
Exactly.
Because young families aren't coming to the area for that
Yeah.
sole purpose. There's no
So, so you don't have teenagers to do those jobs, and so therefore you can't support it, and it's,
yeah.
It is.
Something to think about.
yeah.
Do you have any idea when we might see this petition?
Somebody else is working on it. I'm telling you, this is coming from a couple different places. I'll follow up with her and see if she has made any progress on it. So we'll see. There's a lot of frustrated parents out there right now.
And those really were the only two entities this summer, is that correct? The Oneonta Boys and Girls Club and the YMCA.
The Y didn't do a program this
Did they do anything
They
this?
did junior firefighter. which
Oh,
is
that's
Monday.
right, they did.
They did the swimming lessons, but that was it.
And yeah, I mean, they're operating our pool for us
Mhm.
for the summer, so,
And they
but they
just,
didn't do like a drop-off program, just the junior firefighter thing was the only sort of drop-off thing they did, and that was one day, so.
right.
Yeah, I'm not sure how many spots Onion Boys and Girls Club had, but I know that they were filled.
Yeah, I'm
For
sure they
parents.
did fill
Mhm.
very, very quickly.
Yeah.
But again, we don't have a small city such as Oneonta, we don't have those resources, again, that larger areas may have.
Mm-hmm.
And we have the smaller communities that feed in, so it wasn't just Oneonta kids either.
Right.
Not that it should be, but we have to consider the broader, you know, regionality of it, where, you know, kids from Warrens are coming, well, I guess they're still, do they go to Oneonta City School District? Anyway, kids from a little farther afield are still, you know, coming in and signing up for those day camp spots also, so. It's bigger than just us.
And also, not just the city of Oneonta, but also, the school district. You know, I can't speak for the Oneonta City School District, but it might take, a partnership of such that this Parks and Recreation cannot do solely on its own.
Mm-hmm.
That's,
I've thought about that too, like, it would be great if the city could partner with the school district in some way. Maybe it starts here.
it could.
A conversation for sure.
Yeah.
Sure, sure.
Any other new business? Okay. If not, would someone like to make a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I will make a motion.
Okay.
I'll second it.